This is the Breakfast Club with Nick and Jackie on Rodney's More FM. Very pleased to have the legal team in from thelegalteam.co.nz is their website. They're based in Silverdale. We have Richard Worker in, and of course we have Jessica Drey in as well. Jack, what's our question that we're going to put to our resident lawyers this morning?
Well, this is one for Jess, and it goes like this. What legal steps do I need to take if I want to subdivide my property? Good question.
Yes.
Excellent question. So subdividing can be fantastic in terms of unlocking some value from your property. Got a bit of extra land, subdivide off a section or some sections, sell them on. Probably one of the only times where I'd say don't see your lawyer first. Your first step is probably going to be consulting with a surveyor or a planner.
Yes.
They're going to run you through the council requirements.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that it's financially viable and that you can in fact subdivide the property. So the surveyor planner will help you walk through the council requirements, have a look at the plan, how your property is zoned, important things to consider like what sort of infrastructure you're going to need to upgrade, what council conditions would be imposed, and then once you've got to that stage where you've got it poised, ready to go in for a resource consent application with council, that's the time where you probably want to come and speak to us as your lawyers.
Yeah.
So you'll work through all of the council requirements for lodging for a resource consent with council, work through all of the other bits and pieces you might need to do, whether you need to pay any development contributions, what sort of connections do you need to provide for, are there going to be any restrictions on the property from council's end, and then your surveyor will complete their draft plan and eventually an LT plan. When you've got that LT plan is when you come in to see your lawyer.
Right.
And we use that to create the new titles as well as all of the other bits and pieces that go along with the titles, such as any easements that might be required. So do you need any easements for driveway or a service, pedestrian access ways, are there any overhanging eaves, all of those little bits and pieces. Thinking as well about the restrictions you want. Do you want to have any restrictions such as, they can't have a bright pink garden shed in the front yard,
Sure.
or 50 satellite dishes, and all of those other bits and pieces that make people good neighbours.
Yes.
So those can go into land covenants. And together with that is also thinking about, from a legal perspective, how is this going to impact if you've got a mortgage? Because anything that touches on your title requires bank consent. So your lawyer would help you prepare the new titles, prepare any instruments to be registered on those titles, and then deal with your bank in terms of obtaining consents and any other affected parties who might need to consent to the application. Once we get to the point where you've satisfied council, they've issued that 223 and 224 certificate if it's relevant, and your surveyor is saying, yep, we're ready to go and lodge the plan, and your lawyer's done all of their bits and pieces with creating the legal side and the bank. From the point we lodge, we do a parallel lodgement with the surveyor. It can be anywhere between, say, 10 to 20 working days, just depending on the Land Online or LIN's workload at the moment, and we keep you up to date with processing. It's not an instant process, it's not a quick process, it's just making sure that you've ticked all of the boxes along the way, so you don't get to the end and get a nasty surprise that, we should have done this and we're not quite ready.
I think it's such a so a lot of people so I've been I think it was this time last year I was looking for a house, and a lot of the people that you go into the different houses and stuff, and the flippant comment which was like, you've got a little bit of land here so you can just subdivide, and it was just like a throwaway comment like that, and then it's like there's so much more to it than that.
And the other thing that's just a little bit of a warning there is that if you do subdivide and sell, it could be a taxable activity, so there could be tax implications there. So do take advice on that. And that'll come down. You can usually just carve off a bit of a back section or something like that, but the Inland Revenue will have a look at how much work was required in order to carve it off and do that, and they sort of then bring you into developer so just be careful on take advice on tax as well.
Interesting. Such good advice. One quick question. and this is probably irrelevant, but how do they choose between it calling like 20A and 20B or 21 and 22?
We get this question all the time. People are so offended at the street number they've been allocated.
Yes.
It's entirely up to council.
Is it?
Yeah. So if you do need to query any street number allocations, you go back to council. You make your case. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
And the address could be 23, whatever street.
Yeah.
And people say, no, but my lot was lot 20 and it's not 23. But your numbering's completely different to actually your land transfer plan number.
Yeah, people are funny about numbers. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys so much. The resident lawyers, it's the legalteam.co.nz is their website. Go see them in Silverdale. But Richard and Jess, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you.